Forward. Awesome. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another fun-filled and glorious spotlight session. Today we have two special guests. First off, we have our very own Daisy Walia, who is going to be giving us some insight into her real estate career, how she's gotten to where she is, what she's looking forward to, some of her goals, things of that nature. And then we also have followed by a training by none other than our Director of Growth, Miss Gloria, who's going to be on and giving us some great tips on how we can, help our businesses grow over the next few months going into the third quarter. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with Miss Daisy.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning?
Very good, Miss U.S. citizen.
Oh, yes.
Right,
I
congratulations.
just recently became a U.S. citizen after 20 years. So, yes, thank you for that.
Wait a second. Did you just cross the border? Is that what happened, Daisy?
That's exactly what happened. I
Okay,
went to
just
the
want-
Border Patrol and I said, "Hey, buddy, I got to make this deal in New Jersey. I have to show this house in New Jersey."
So you crossed the Rio Grande, you're a citizen, you're good to go. Okay, good.
Now I'm good to go. Now I'm good to go.
Good.
Next stop, Vice President. Right? You guys will vote for me, right?
Right.
All right. Well, no, let's just get back to Mother Earth, to our very own real estate that we drink and we breathe and we eat and we talk real estate.
Yeah.
So, when Lawrence asked me yesterday to come, I was super excited because not very long ago, I was on one of these spotlight sessions listening to folks that came in and did so well in a short span of time. And I used to look at them and I used to be like, how much work would they have had to put in to be on the spotlight and to share their experience? Like, I mean, to get to that level, that must have been just so much work and so much luck. And how will I ever be there? And let me tell you, yes, it is a lot of work. But if you put in your heart and soul into it, it is so achievable. This is, I think, one field where your hard work really pays off. Like people really recognize your hard work, and that's what really sticks to you. That's what happened with me. I came from a very blessed background. I mean, I had a lot of contacts and everything when I first joined Keller Williams, and I actually full circle, like Joe's on this call and Joe's the one who recruited me. And I remember the only person I spoke with and after my class got over was Joe. That's it, nobody else. And the deciding factor for me to join Keller Williams was Jeff, of course, whose class I took from CJREI. And then that's all I knew. And then I went and then I spoke with Joe, and I really liked it. And not many people know this, but when I did my real estate class, the reason I did my real estate class was because I was exposed. It was in the middle of COVID in 2021, and I was exposed. And my doctor said, "You're not leaving the house for the next 15 days, even if you don't test positive." So I'm like, okay, great. Let me just sign up. I've always wanted to do it. Now is the time. I did work with my brother for the last, I think since 2004, I worked with my brother in his company. So, it was very, and when your brother owns the company, you're more responsible for a lot of things. It's not just a 9 to 5. So this was my opportunity to take the class. And I said, I'm going to be home. Let me just do this. And I took the class, and I didn't have the luxury of just going out and meeting people or anything like that when I was taking the class. It was all on Zoom, and I made some really good friends during the class. We were like 6 people that came together and did a study group. And they were all doing the whole research, Vikert and Remax and this and that. And they would just come and tell me, we did this and we did that and all of that stuff. I just spoke with Joe. I wanted to be, around Jeff because I really did believe that Jeff's class helped me. I got COVID in the middle of the class. 3 days into the class, I tested positive, and I stuck to the class. I remember I just stuck to the class. And by the time my quarantine was over, I was a licensed real estate agent. I took the exam through live proctoring from home, which was a nightmare. It's a story for another day. But And then Joe said, we're great. Joe told me everything about the culture and everything. And I was like, okay, this seems like a fit to me. And then I went to their Facebook page just to kind of, stalk them. And I saw a very close family friend of mine was also part of Keller Williams Cornerstone. And that was it. That sealed the deal for me. I called her up and I told her, I said, hey, I'm a real estate agent. And she goes, what? And I was like, yeah, I just passed my class and I've got my license and I spoke with Joe Kozo and I think what should I do? Should I just join? And she's like, don't even think about it. I was like, will you be able to help me? And she's like, I cannot tell you how much help I can use. She's a very her name is Nim Sandhu. She's an excellent capper agent. She does gold almost every year in Circle of Excellence. And she's like, I was like, just give me whatever help you can. And, I'll do whatever it needs to do, you need help with. And she's like, just come, please. I need the help. I need the help. And I joined and that was it. I feel like somebody just recently said, it doesn't even feel like I joined Cornerstone in 2021. I feel like I've always been in Keller Williams Cornerstone. That's what it feels like. It doesn't even feel like it's been 2.5, 3 years almost. I feel like ever since I've just been here. And I did, going back to how it all started with me, that's my story. And I was dual career. I had to really manage my time initially very, very well because I didn't want my brother, having worked for my brother for so long, I didn't want him to think I was flying away or abandoning him. When you work in a family business, you have to be very careful. So I had to really pick and choose like my hours. And I was still going to a physical office. This was in the thick of, this was like maybe like end of summer 2021 when COVID was still there, but we had a small office. So we were still going to the office. I was only working from home on Fridays, but every single Friday that I didn't have to go to the office, I would be at Keller Williams, which is if there are any new agents here or even the older ones, I'm like the one person, if I'm coming to the KW office, I'll text in the group and I'll be like, hey, I'm coming to the office. I just have time. Whoever wants to come, just come, I'll text Nina Sambar. I'll text Nina Singh. I'll call Nim and I was like, hey, let's go for coffee. Like, let's do something. And that's what I did when I first came here, even though we were in COVID and nobody was really out and about, but I came to the office every Friday. If I had a doubt, I came to the office. I met people, I networked with fellow agents, and everybody helped me so much. I was just out and about. Any open house, anybody had a listing, I would be the first one. I would be like, Pinky, Deepak, do you need help with open houses? I just did one open house with Nim to see how it works, and I loved it. I couldn't believe how much fun an open house was. Very tiring, but a lot of fun. Nim showed me one open house, and then after that, I just started taking over. I did open houses for Nim. I did open houses for Pinky and Deepak. I did for Ketan. There used to be an agent in our office called Ketan Kenya. A lot of regard for him. He helped me a lot initially. I actually just bumped into him yesterday. But, I did a lot of open houses, and my first actual sale came from a lead I got from an open house. I always tell this. It was, he came in with his family. He wanted to put an offer on the house I was doing an open house from. He didn't have an agent, and I wrote that offer. It was my first offer. And oh my God, it was such a disaster. I didn't know how to use command. I just didn't know anything. Oh God, I still get nightmares about it. Oh my God, now that I'm thinking about it. So if you're feeling overwhelmed when you go into command or when you're writing your offer, believe me, I still get overwhelmed with command. Like yesterday, I was writing up a lease and DocuSign just changed something on the lease. They now have like, in the special notes, they have lines now. Like, I'm like, why? I like the paragraph part of it. What happened here? So it was very overwhelming and I wrote it. Of course, he didn't get that offer. And after that, I just stuck to this guy. If he wanted to see a house at 6 a.m, I would be there. One lead is what I needed. And I remember, I've lost count of how many homes I must have shown him, but I will tell you, I wrote 21 offers for this one guy. 21 offers before he actually found a house and before we actually, and you know what? Here's the next thing. When we were doing this, people were like, the housing market was crazy. It's still crazy. But at that time in 2021, it was, you didn't know what was happening. Like you would go to an open house and by evening, highest and best was announced. It was just crazy. So it was very overwhelming. And those days, a lot of people were selling houses. There were a lot of for sale by owners because people were so desperate to buy homes that it didn't matter how they were getting it. And I had a coach called Donna, and Donna used to do these script practices for us. And she used to say, call FISBOs. It was a very good way of getting a lead, right? And if there's one thing I can do for those who know me well, if there's just one thing that I know I can do, is I can talk. That is the only skill I have. I'm never going to be a doctor. I'm never going to be an engineer. But if there was ever a doctor that just needed to talk, I could be that person. I can talk anything. And I remember I used to go to work at 10 a.m. So at 9 a.m., I would leave my house and I would have a list, like I would have a handwritten list of FISBOs to call, and ask and can try to convert them into a lead, a listing. And I was talking to this FISBO, and while I'm talking to him and then looking at pictures, like I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, forget it. I said, will you give a buyer's agency commission? And he goes, yes, I will. I said, when can I see it? Because suddenly while I was talking to him, I realized, I said, this house is perfect for my client for whom I've already written 21 offers. After you write 21 offers, you know every brain cell in their body. Like, do you know what I
Right.
mean? I knew, and I was like, and he's like, yeah, I can show it to you in the evening. And I said, okay. And I told my client, I said, leave work now, take a half day, whatever you need to do. I need you to see this house. And it was a FISBO. And my first sale after 21 offers was from a FISBO, a cold call I made to try and convert them. And I was so nervous at that time. We got our offer accepted. Another offer came in. We upped our offer. All of this happened. We finally went under contract. And then Donna said, tell your FISBO that just for comps purposes, you want to put this on the MLS. He doesn't have to pay you separately. You'll get 2 units. Do you know? I was so nervous to even have that conversation with him. And I said, Donna, it's okay. Let me just do this buyer's side and be done with it. I'm happy. It's fine. And she's like, Daisy, but you did find the house. It will be a very good way for you to, get it on the MLS and it adds. I said, at that time, I was like, now you should watch me how I do that. but I'm just saying, like, I was so nervous. I just wanted him to find a house. That's all I felt like for those 3-4 months, all I was breathing and sleeping and thinking was buying this person his house. And it ended up from a cold call. Like that's how much hard work went in finding his place. And just slowly from there I started gaining the confidence. I used one of those sales and one of my rentals that I did for a friend who was going, oh yes, be good with all your friends, because sooner or later they'll want to need you. I live in a townhome development. It's a funny story, and I don't mind telling everybody this. But so this was a new construction townhome that I live in 10 years ago. Kiev Indian built it. And I was like one of those cool people that didn't want to like say hi to everybody. I mean, I would say hi, but I would be like resting bitch face kind of a person. Sorry, pardon my language, but I'm just saying it. And after 10 years, people started selling their houses. Everybody that I didn't give my 100% never used me as an agent. So start being nice to everybody around you, because you don't know who's going to sell their places, right? You have no, oh wait, guys, I'm so sorry, but this is a painter and I really have to take his call because I've been trying to chase him. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Daisy.
That's
So far we're getting some great experience and tips from Daisy, which is really good. So that was a really big thing that she just said, which is be nice to everyone you come in contact with. That's actually a really good tip to say, because like she said, prior to that, she was just being, a little standoffish with her neighbors, things like that. Now everyone is ready to sell and they're not calling her. So
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
a great takeaway from that.
I think another great takeaway too was free form of getting leads. Open
Right.
houses. You're not paying a referral fee. Your name tag, guys. You can get business just wearing your name tag. I was in a nail salon drying my nails. The lady across from me said, "Oh, you're in real estate?" my husband and I are getting separated. Do you think you could come over and tell us what the house is worth? I'm like, let me think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I go over. The home was in Marlboro. I listed it for over $1 million. I sold her a $650,000 condo, and I sold him an $800,000 condo, all for wearing a name tag and drying my nails. I'm sorry. I don't want to
No,
take you
no, no, Gloria, that is so true. Do you know, if anybody follows me, my listings are really good. When I get a listing, they're top notch. Even if it's a shitty place, I make sure they're top notch. And I learned that from Neil Dalal. He said, like, you know, when you put the listing out there, I just sold a 2-bedroom condo, not a townhome, a 2-bedroom condo in Governors Point and North Brunswick that usually averages at around, on a best day, 360. I just sold a 2-bedroom condo for 395. A condo, a second floor condo, not even a first floor condo, all because I made sure that we got the walls painted, got the floors changed. It was $6,000 investment for my client, and then boom. But you know why my listings are so good? Because I use the best photographer. And you know how I found that photographer? I took my dad. My dad was supposed to have a spinal surgery, and I took him to a surgeon's office, and I was sitting in the waiting area talking to Kathy, who's an attorney that I love, by the way, right? I was talking to Kathy about a transaction, and I kept the phone down, and this Asian guy walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm sorry to eavesdrop, but are you a real estate agent?" And I goes, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Here's my card. I just got into photography. I do real estate photography." And I was like, "Wait, aren't you Jin Woo?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "I saw you on Nina Sampath's Instagram." So this was this guy who was doing all these drone things, and Nina Sampath, who at that time, I mean, still a lot of respect for Nina Sampath. I always say when I grow up, I want to be like Nina Sampath. I really want to be. Yeah, we all want to be like Nina Sampath. I tell this to everybody. But at that time, like Nina Sampath was like, I don't even think I knew her that well. But we're very good friends now, knock on wood. But yes. And I was like, and I'm like, okay, Nina Sampath uses this photographer. Like, it's like as if I just got myself a diamond ring or something. And here he is saying hi to me. And I was like, Jin. And then we ended up becoming friends. And I said, "Oh, I'm very new right now. I don't even know if I'm going to ever have a listing. I'm only working with buyers, but great." I started following him on Instagram. And, you know, from that day onwards till today, I don't even use anybody else for a rental. I tell him he's my lucky charm. If pictures have to happen, they have to happen through Jin. And all because I was sitting in a doctor's office talking on the phone. Make all your phone calls to attorneys, to appraisals, or to inspectors, or to your clients when you're in a public area. Trust me. Top right line, like you should see me. I was one. So, I mean, you're never going to stop. Like you have to constantly, you don't know when you're going to find somebody. I go to the Starbucks on Route 1 every morning, and I get into my car and I have a list of phone calls I need to make, you know, whether it's Kathy, whether it's Visionary, whatever. So every time I go to the drive-through, I'm talking to somebody on the phone when I'm taking my coffee. And finally, like after like 7, 8 times I did it. One time I wasn't on the phone, and this lady goes, "Are you in real estate?" Because every day when she was giving me my coffee, she would hear me talk on the phone about real estate, and she was looking for a rental. And I did find her a rental, but you know, I mean, it was through a management company, and they didn't end up paying broker's fees. And I told her, I said, "Hey, don't worry about it. Make sure my coffee is excellent." I didn't do a lot of work. And one day she's going to buy and she's going to come to me. So not always do you get rewarded right away. You never do, right? Not always. But you have to constantly work. And initially, you know, this was one of the things that I felt, that initially when you come in, help as much as you can. Don't look at the number. It's very important for all of us to make money, no doubt. We are all in this to make money. But real estate, the very foundation of real estate is support, is the camaraderie, right? So your support is very important. The more support you give somebody else, the more you will receive, right? I just did a $6,200 rental for a client of mine for $300. Why? Because she even bought the house from me. It was a new construction, $700,000+ home, which she got through Lennar. I was her agent. And then when I had to list it, I said, just just give me the nominal fees for the pictures because I'm going to list it correctly. Like I want to do it right. And that's going to go such a long way. Now her daughter is moving from Virginia and looking for $1 million place in Jersey City. So that is how you build. You lose some, you gain some. Look at the bigger picture. That's what I feel. And the one thing that I feel like if there's anybody new over here, right, is I feel like the newer agents really need to come out there. You guys need to come out there. You need to call like Quantasia. I'm going to cite her example. A couple of weeks ago, the $395,000 condo I sold, I was supposed to do an open house with Shalini, a very good friend of mine, and Shalini got sick that morning. And I was at an inspection, and last minute I texted, I said, hey, I'm doing an open house if anybody's free. Literally, it was 20 minutes before 12 o'clock. And Quantasia right away texted back saying, can I join? And I said, sure. And she came in like half an hour. She was there. She was so ready to learn. It was so good. The other day I met her and I said, oh, I may have a lead from Zillow, blah, blah, blah. And I forgot all about it. She followed up. I forgot to reply to her. She followed up again. Like and I said, I'm so sorry. Like, sometimes you forget to reply. And she continued. And I said, hey, here's the lead. I don't know if anything is ever going to come out of the lead, but that is the drive I had when I started. And I still have that. That is the drive. Nim is in India right now. And she texted saying, can you do an inspection? I said, sorry, I can't do an inspection. Can you do this showing? Absolutely. I will clear everything. If I can, I will clear everything to help out Nim, or anybody for that matter. We used to have a guy in our office called Fino, a very, very nice agent. Oh my God, amazing agent. I barely met him maybe like 4 times in my life, but we really connected. He had joined a year before me, and by the time I came, he was already doing so well. And, one time he had a listing in South Brunswick, and I said, hey, I've heard a lot about you. Can I stop by the listing just to meet you? And he goes, hey, come, take any leads. If you get a lead, take a lead. That's fine. Don't worry. And that's how I met Fino. One time he called me. It was the start of 2022. And I was at a plateau. It was the beginning. It was like February or something, March. Nothing was moving. I was working with these buyers with like 5% and 10% down. And listen, every buyer is important. I'm not trying to say that, but it sometimes gets demotivating when you have buyers that are not so aggressive. Okay. But don't let that bring you down. I was in one of those plateaus and nothing was moving. And it was this was the year it was going to make or break, right? It was my first full year. And Fino called me and he's like, hey, I got this listing and it's a flip in South Brunswick and it's not moving. I need some Daisy magic on it. I swear he called me and said that. He's like, every time you do an open house, it's great. I said, hey, I could use some magic too. I'm so bored. And, I said I could, because South Brunswick, even right now, is a very hot market. So people coming into South Brunswick are well qualified. And I was like, I could use a couple of South Brunswick buyers. Let me do the open house. I did the open house. And believe me, this was peak. We were still in a crazy market. I had three people that came to the open house. The first person that came to an open house is somebody I knew from many years ago who lived in the townhome development across, saw my open house sign, saw my face, and decided to come to the open house to say hi to me. Number one. Number two, the person who came was the neighbor of that house. And she just came curiosity, started talking to me. Before going, she looked at me and she says, do you do investment properties as well? And I was like, yeah, I do. I mean, what was I going to say? No, I don't. Of course I do investment. I didn't even know what she meant by an investment property. I was like, I'll call somebody and I'll find out what she means by that. And I said, of course I do everything, commercial, real estate, everything. I do everything under the sun in New Jersey. I do. She goes, oh, my dad buys a lot of investment properties, but he works with somebody from Wycott and she's kind of retiring. So I said, sure, please ask him to give me a call. And she goes, sure. I never thought anything was going to come out of it. This was on a Sunday. That Tuesday was the Circle of Excellence Award. I wasn't getting an award, but I went to the award ceremony and we were taking a group picture when my phone rang, and it was that girl's dad. And he said, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. That was in 2022. We're in 2024 right now. I've done 4 deals, all cash deals with him. And the phone call I just took was because one of his renters in one of the properties has a leak, and our contractor was calling because I was and this client of mine is in Pakistan right now, out of the country. So I'm taking care of this. But that one open house, I never got a buyer lead, but I got this daughter that came in. She told her dad used me for one deal. And since then, I'm like more like family to them. And I spent 4 hours there and one other person came. It was an inspector that came with a little goodie bag with a Kit Kat and a water bottle. And I could really use the Kit Kat and the water bottle and the water, a small water. And he said, hey, I'm just dropping all this off and I'm an inspector. If you ever need an inspector, blah, blah, blah. Everything finished, open house finished. I forgot about him. This year I was trying to find an inspector, and my usual guy that I use was busy, and I really needed to get this inspection done. And I called him, and he came, and it was amazing. I didn't even realize what a great inspector he is. He's amazing, and already half of our office has used him. Like yesterday, Nina Singh texted saying, who do we like for inspectors these days? And they're calling him Daisy's British guy because he has a British accent. So anything, I mean, I'm just saying the kind of contacts you won't do anything sitting at home. Nothing will happen in real estate if you're sitting at home. You just have to be out and about. I'm always out and about. Like everything has to stop, and you have to take care of it. I'm not saying stop living. I mean, you just want to make it enjoyable. Like if I didn't take the contractor's call right now, who knows when he would have picked up my call. The contractors are worse to get in touch with. You think listing agents are bad? Well, try getting in touch with contractors. They're worse. No, it's true. And I just feel like I have a huge circle, a huge network. But when I first started, I didn't reach out to that network. Sphere of influence is very important, but I didn't want to go to them, ask them for their business. And if they rejected me, get myself demotivated. So I did it the organic way. I started going out there, doing the open houses, helping other clients. I remember Kate in Kenya said, hey, I've got this client. He's a very annoying client. I don't think he's going to buy. He wants to keep looking at homes. Do you want to take him over? Take him. If he ends up buying a house, just give me a referral. I said, sure. I mean, at that point, I was like, wow, the guy never bought a house. I must have shown him at least 15, 20 homes. I always say that I have no regret because you know what? Every time I opened a house for him, showed him a house, I found out more about the area. I learned about the area. I learned how to open a Supra lockbox, which is a disaster. I still get nervous every time there's a Supra lockbox because I don't know if my phone's going to work or not. There are lots of things. Each time you open a lock, each time you show a house, you are learning more about properties. You're learning more about an HVAC system. I didn't even know where my house had the HVAC system until I did my first open house. I came home and I asked my husband, I said, do we have an HVAC? Like, do we? How does the air, like, what happens in our house? And he goes, yes, it's in the basement. And I was like, okay, all right. And now, oh my God, we got an electric charger put in, and the electrician never filed the permit. I was on his case until that permit got filed and until the inspection was done. I was like, I'm not messing around with North Brunswick Township. So everything is an experience, and not everything comes with, getting paid. That is the one thing I want you to know. You will never succeed if you only look at that one number. It is very important for everyone to make money, no doubt about it. But there are times you will have to do things without getting paid. And I'm not saying give up your commission or something, but go out there, help other agents, learn from them, because every experience, every a step of the way you're learning. I'm learning even till today. So that's my take.
Nice. Thank you so much, Daisy. That was very insightful. Thank you for all your experience and sharing all of that with us today. I hope you guys got some great nuggets from her that she just dropped on us.
Yes.
Just be nice to your neighbors, man. Trust me.
Yeah, be nice to your neighbors. That's the that's the biggest one I got.
And another thing I will tell you, don't get demotivated. I had this happen to me last year. And when I say last year, like 6-7 months ago, I was at peak. Like I was there. I had arrived. Like people around me knew because if I even if I do like the littlest rental deal, I make sure it's all over social media. Everybody and their mothers need to know that I made a deal, even if it's a rental. That's how much I market myself. I haven't done Zillow paid marketing. I haven't done any of those stuff. The only thing I'm doing is on my own on social media, like just boom, 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 boom. Right. So I had a really good friend who I know very well lived in this development, and he bought $1 million house in Somerset. I didn't know he bought it. And I only found out after he bought it and sold his house overnight, right? And it left me with a little pinch. And I was like, I wonder why he didn't use me. And I was very demotivated. And I called Nim and I said, Nim, I feel like crying. Like every party, every dinner, everybody asks me everything about real estate. And I just don't stop talking. I tell them everything, what's going on. And it's like free knowledge. And I want them to know that I'm like smart. And I said, they didn't end up using me. And Nim said, don't worry about it. She said, hey guys, my contractor just came. 1 second. She said, don't worry about it. Friends don't always like to talk about garage kholo? I'll open the garage. Sorry. Friends don't always, he's come to take the paint. Friends don't always like to discuss money, and show their money. And they're like, just don't worry about it. Don't let it bring you down. And she really talked me out of it. And 2 weeks after this whole thing was done, he came home one day for coffee and he sat me down on his own and said, hey, I never want you to feel that I didn't use you, but this was the reason. I just didn't want to mix friendship and business. And that was it. And, I was fine with it. So there are lots of things that will demotivate you, but don't let it demotivate you. Move on. The key in real estate is to move on. A deal goes bad, go to the next one. Don't mull over it. It's easier said than done. I'm guilty of doing it. It's much easier said than done. But always remember, for us, failure is not an option. That's the mantra I used. I went through so much to get my real estate license. I sat at home with 103 fever, heard Jeff every single day. And for me, that was the mantra. Failure is not an option. And that should also be your mantra.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Daisy, for giving us a lot of information today. I really appreciate you coming on. We're going to hold
Lawrence,
up
can I
on...
put in a word?
Yes, go ahead.
Daisy? Is Daisy there?
Yes, she's still here.
I'm very much here.
Daisy,
Yeah.
you have grown up and you are Daisy Walia. I want to be you one day.
No,
Nice.
Let me go with that mantra. Because the more I'm growing up, you're also growing up even more. No, you're not stagnant. So you're
No.
setting the bar higher.
No, but I always admire your energy, your fearlessness, if I may put it, and get it. So you're unique and you are Daisy Walia.
Oh, thank you so much, Nina. Thank you. See, that's the encouragement you need. That's all you need.
Absolutely.
Anytime. All the best.
Thank you, Nina. So we're gonna hold off on Gloria's session because she really wants to get in depth on everything, and I don't want to hold everybody up on their days. So we're gonna hold that off for another couple of Fridays, and then we'll get into that for her. So guys, thank you again for joining us for this week's
Lawrence,
session.
I just wanted to say,
I was just about to ask if anyone had any final words.
Yeah, I mean, Nina, I just wanted to say, great session. Daisy had such great pointers. I think we'll have to do the same session for one of our ALT coffees, because she brought us such great points that some of the newer agents really need to hear. That, even just going and showing a home, you find out about the neighborhood, you find out how to open a Supra. I mean, those are like small things that people are always thinking they become an agent and the first thing they'll do is sell this first house the first time they show it. Sometimes you need to, as she said, you have to be positive and failure is not an option. So Daisy, wonderful session. I'm late because I was trying to do 20 other things, but I said I have to log in to hear her. So amazing.
Right.
We appreciate you, Mayor.
May I throw something out too?
Go ahead.
Daisy, I was on the same page with you as far as, your mindset and starting your day. And I was going to start my session, but I'm going to finish it with this. Happiness is where you start, not where you're finished. You need to, positive emotions are the starting point of learning, growth, and high performance. They broaden your options of thinking and acting and come from a state of gratitude. Okay. So it all starts with your mindset. Like she said, you have to be in a positive place because people will feel what you're doing, even over the phone, even over. And I got a lot of good nuggets for both seasoned and experienced agents, but I know our session is, I talk a lot, so I don't want to keep you as long on a Friday, but I definitely would like to get you guys. I hope you will come back and hear what the 135, where to get the business and how to get the business for both seasoned and brand new agents. I have tips for all of you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Gloria, for that. Thank you all for joining us again today. We really appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you to our special guest, Daisy, for giving us her great experience and insights into the world of real estate. I appreciate you all, and I hope to see you all at the barbecue on the, when's the barbecue? The 20th, I think? I forgot the date. But I look forward to seeing you all here in the office. Hopefully everyone can make it, and you guys have a great and productive weekend. I'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks, Lauren.
You're welcome.